Or myself. Sit still, James, that I never. Hi, my name is Jane Powell. Welcome to Community Connections, a show showcasing community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Today our guest is Martha Minter, Associate Director of Community Access Incorporated. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you for having me.
We're glad you're on the show today.
Well, thank you for again having us on the show.
Okay, so Community Access, why don't you tell me how it started?
Community Access was founded in 1992 by our Executive Director, Jeff McCroskey, because he saw a need for students who needed extra supports and job coaching support in the summertime. Jeff directs all the the work exploration program for Kanawha County Schools. Okay. He found that often students would lose jobs in the summertime. So from a generous grant from the West Virginia Developmental Disabilities Council, Community Access was formed. And from that point on, we've gone and done many, many different projects. I have worked there since 2001, I'm sorry.
Wow, okay. So when I read your vision statement, all people can live, work, and fully participate in the community of their choice.
Absolutely. We believe that.
Okay.
And we love to develop innovative systems change kind of projects where we bridge different systems together to come up with better outcomes for the people we serve and full inclusion.
And so when you talk about people that you serve, there's a broad range of people that you're serving. So you're meeting needs of lots of community members and helping them be in their community. But let's talk about a few of the programs. Okay. I know that there's many, and it would take us all day to talk about everything you do. But let's start with a few. Let's talk about the Transition to Employment program that you help with.
Yes, that project was developed back in 2001, where we took the concept of supported employment to work with people who were on public assistance, TANF, Temporary Assistance to Needy Families.
Okay.
And back in the day when there was when the whole business of welfare reform was initiated, where a person would only have 5 years of eligibility in a lifetime to be on welfare. The welfare rolls dropped significantly, but then there were some individuals still hanging on and not going to work. So our director felt like, what if we develop a supported employment approach to working with those individuals and help them get off the welfare rolls into viable jobs with viable wages, livable wages. And so that project went on, and it ended up being, and that's when I came on board.
Okay.
The project was a 4-year-long project, and we ended up expanding, and we're all over the state of West Virginia, and then the state ran out of money, which they had money to fund those kinds of things, and they ran out of that. So then that developed into the current one that we do, where it's just me, that I work with generous funding from the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation to work with different organizations in the valley to help people who are participating in those programs see what they can do as far as career and how to manage money and career and money and what about all that, because we believe that that's real important for people to feel successful as they're working.
And we were talking earlier that it is not a cookie cutter program, that you really tailor it to your audience and to the participants.
Absolutely.
So depending on where the group is that you're speaking to, where they are in the cycle of life and what they're doing, you can tailor the program to meet their needs.
Absolutely, we do that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So if someone says, I'm a chef, but they've never been to any sort of training to be a chef, they've maybe had some experience, but doing some of the work, but no formal training, that might be part of the plan, is to think about that career ladder of being able to fulfill their dream to be, their belief about being a chef, for instance.
And it's not a one-time meeting that you have with them.
Oh, no.
It's a continual process.
Absolutely,
as they grow, your, I guess, support grows along with them.
It does, and it's been very nice to have, kind of episodic, but past residents from the programs where I've worked, like Samaritan Inn or the Vet Service Center, folks will come back through and then give me updates on what they've been doing, or they might ask for some more support on some venture they're going off on. And
That's kind of a feel-good moment, isn't it?
That's really good.
Yeah, that's really nice. And this might be a good time to mention that people don't come to you, you actually go to them,
Right.
to where they are, that there is not a community access building or office, that you're very mobile and you go to where the need is.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, that's very nice. Another program that I know that is happening right now is the Governor's Initiative on Substance Abuse and Mental Health. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
The substance abuse problem in the state is so dreadful that the Governor Tomlin issued an executive order in September of 2011 to establish a Governor's Advisory Council on Substance Abuse. And that council receives input from 6 regional task forces. The state's divided into 6 regions, and those task forces meet regularly, at least 4 times a year, to come up with what needs to happen in their recommendations based on their particular part of the state. Because the problems might be similar but not the same when you think, say, the southern coal fields versus the eastern or northern panhandles.
Right.
So Community Access does the facilitation and logistics for that initiative. So we're kind of the invisible people behind the scenes.
Okay.
But it means we go to all the meetings and are there to help facilitate and do the logistics.
Wow, and that happens 4 times a year.
Well, for the regional task force meetings, and then the Governor's Advisory Council itself will then take those recommendations, and then they meet a few times a year
Oh, okay.
to then make their recommendations to the governor.
Wow.
So we'll have, I think we're coming up on round 13 since this initiative started, so 13 times 6 is how
Yes.
many meetings that have been
A
taken
lot.
place.
That's
so,
a lot of
so
meetings.
far, yeah.
That's right. And what you're learning in those meetings and through that project obviously carries over into your other projects, and that you have that information to help other people as well.
It is helpful, and it's very heartening to see how citizens of our state so want to be helpful and pull together as a community. Our state sense of community is fabulous. And most of the time people will put their own private agendas, if you will, on the table to come together for the greater good.
Okay. A program that we talked about earlier, which I really just think wonderful things are happening, is the STEP program. And that's a Student Transition to Employment Project,
Yes.
STEP. Why don't you tell us about that and some of just the attention that this program is receiving?
That program is one in which we show special education teachers how they can be independent vendors with the Division of Rehab Services here in West Virginia. So that, for instance, a teacher who's worked with a student for their high school, the 3 years the student's been in high school, can then be their job coach after they graduate, after the student graduates, and follow them and help make a seamless transition into the adult system.
So the student has the support going forward, and the teacher has an additional income.
Has some chance for additional income. Yes,
Right.
it's been a very positive thing. Not all states allow individuals to be independent vendors, but West Virginia and several other states, in fact, do. It's been a very positive thing because it's a benefit for everyone.
That's
The
right.
student goes from school to work and stays, and then there's the seamless transition. So it's a great partnership, and that again is some of our mission to help bridge and connect different systems together to make better outcomes.
I love that. And this program is getting some federal attention, is my understanding. Is that right?
Yes, it was named as one of the 2 best practices from the University of Massachusetts across the country of practices. And then the Commissioner for the Rehab Services Administration, Janet Lebrecht, came to West Virginia and visited the program, and some of the students that were working in different places not long ago. And so we expect to hear more from that.
Wow.
We're
I
excited.
love that. Just, I mean, something that started and has grown and is now getting national attention is really quite fabulous.
Well, we are humbled by it, and we love being able to help people.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I know that you're doing as an organization, and that is another passion of yours, is equine therapy.
Yes. I do equine-assisted psychotherapy and equine-assisted learning.
Okay, so those are big words. Why don't you tell us a little
Well,
bit
and
about that?
our director says it's my horse fixation.
Okay.
It's where you work with horses and people together in the arena, and no one is riding the horse, but it's a experiential model of learning, where you might ask a person to set up an obstacle course that represents something that might be going on in their life and take the horse through it. And so there's metaphor and parallels to what might be going on in the person's life in a therapeutic kind of context, or you can use it certainly in a learning context, like staff development and team building, and how people work together as a team, and the interaction of the horses out in the arena, because they're running free out in the arena. And so the different ways they may behave may then parallel things that are the objective or what people are dealing with.
So is this a one-time? Does someone come to you once? Is it a group outing, or is it like an ongoing program that people would come and work in, I think it's at a riding rink, I'm not sure that that's what you call it, or the pasture, whatever. Do they do that more than once?
It can be all of the above.
Yeah.
Depending, that's what's a nice aspect of that project, is that you can have individual sessions or successive sessions. We have the previous 2 years have gone up to Camp Dawson for the Gold Star weekend retreats.
Nice.
Where there's a barn that is about 3 miles away from Camp Dawson.
Okay.
And so we offered that project and program. We offered sessions for participants of the Gold Star weekend the previous 2 years. So that was very wonderful. We loved it.
Wow.
And we'll continue. We expect to do it.
Yeah, so if someone wanted to learn more about Community Access, or they had questions, the best way to learn and get in touch with you is through your website, is that right?
We have our website. I think it's going to be up on the screen.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. And our website, and then our phone number and email.
Okay.
Individuals can.
So those are the best ways. So it's communityaccesswestvirginia.org, or how people can.
Community Access WV.
WV.
There's a
excuse me.
Community Access actually, I think, up in New York somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Without putting a WV on there, it'll.
So communityaccesswv.org, where people can learn more about your programs, and they can find ways to contact you and that sort of thing. So we have just a minute or two left. Is there something else that you want to touch on? Is there a point that we need to learn and you want to make sure that everybody is aware of for Community Access?
We are just appreciative to be able to help people. And we, again, love to do systems change kind of projects where we help bridge different systems together to come up with better ideas. We certainly have other programs we could talk about, but there's not time today. But again, we actually, I'll put in a plug for Greater Kanawha Valley's initiative. We love the approach of we're investing in our communities, and our programs need to show.
And building wealth.
Building wealth, exactly.
Yes, it's very much what you do. So if we look at your mission, Community Access mission is to develop innovative programs that bridge educational, employment, and other systems in order to achieve better outcomes and full inclusion for the people we serve. That's a mission statement.
Thank you.
Yes, very much. So please check out the website, Community Access communityaccesswv.org. Or give them a call on the telephone, let them know that you're interested. Martha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yep. This has been Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We hope to see you next time.